Have you ever wondered what happens when two completely different worlds collide? Picture this: a glamorous beauty mogul stepping into the gritty, chaotic realm of roaring engines and leather jackets. Sounds impossible, right? But sometimes, the most unexpected situations can teach us the biggest lessons and lead to the wildest adventures. Tonight, we're diving into a story like no other. It's not just about makeup or motorcycles. It's about persistence, grit, and the determination to protect what matters most. This is the tale of Kylie Jenner, her groundbreaking makeup prototype, and a neon-lit chase through a world she never imagined stepping into. Stay with us until the end to discover how Kylie's journey isn't just about reclaiming a lost product. It's a masterclass in perseverance and adaptability. Plus, there's a surprise twist waiting for you that you won't want to miss. Ready to dive into the action? Let's begin. The setup: the prototype goes missing. Under the glare of neon lights and the steady hum of roaring engines, Kylie Jenner stepped out of her sleek SUV, her signature confidence turning every head. This wasn't her usual scene. Instead of red carpets and flashing cameras, she was surrounded by leather-clad bikers, vintage motorcycles, and the smoky haze of grilled food stands. Her arrival was as much a spectacle as the rally itself. Why was she here? To unveil her latest creation, a revolutionary makeup product unlike anything the beauty world had seen. Dubbed the all-night glow stick, it promised the impossible, a flawless finish that could withstand heat, humidity, and even a wild night out. A product that could keep up with a lifestyle as unpredictable as Kylie's own. The crowd buzzed with curiosity. Some were makeup enthusiasts eager to catch a glimpse of Kylie and her newest innovation. Others, the bikers themselves, eyed her with a mix of amusement and intrigue. It wasn't every day someone like Kylie entered their turf. Kylie, never one to shy away from a challenge, embraced the moment with her signature flair. Flashing a confident smile, she mingled effortlessly, answering questions, posing for selfies, and even exchanging light-hearted banter with some of the bikers. Amid the chaos, her assistant handed her a sleek black bag. It was small, unassuming, but it held the prototype. What Kylie didn't realize was that in a place like this, attention wasn't always a good thing. Among the crowd lurked a pair of eyes that had noticed the bag. Eyes that saw not just an opportunity, but a way to turn this glamorous intrusion into their advantage. As the rally roared on, Kylie placed the sleek black bag on a nearby table, momentarily distracted by a crowd of fans. The chatter grew louder, engines revved in the distance, and laughter filled the air as she autographed jackets, posed for pictures, and soaked in the unusual but lively atmosphere. Unbeknownst to her, the bag was no longer where she had left it. A burly biker, distractedly carrying his own leather satchel, mistook Kylie's black bag for his. In one swift motion, he scooped it up and slung it over his shoulder. To him, it was just another bag in the chaos of the rally. Minutes ticked by, and Kylie finally turned back to check on her prized prototype. Her heart dropped. The table was empty. The bag, with her groundbreaking makeup stick inside, had vanished. Panic set in. She scanned the crowd frantically, her thoughts racing. Had she left it somewhere else? Had someone moved it? Or worse, had someone taken it? Kylie's usually composed demeanor faltered for a moment before her determination kicked in. "Where is it?" she muttered under her breath, her voice sharp with urgency. Turning to her assistant, she asked, "Did you see anyone take the bag?" As her team scrambled to help, an ominous feeling crept in. In the background, the rival gang, known for their opportunistic schemes, exchanged sly glances. They had spotted the bag in the hands of the unsuspecting biker. Now, they were plotting their move. For Kylie, it was no longer just a rally. It was a race against time to track down the missing prototype before it fell into the wrong hands. Across the rally, in a dimly lit corner near a row of gleaming bikes, a group of leather-clad figures watched with predatory interest. This was the Iron Fangs, a rival biker gang notorious for their cunning and their willingness to exploit any opportunity. Their leader, Snake, a wiry man with a silver tooth and an air of menace, leaned back on his bike, his sharp eyes fixed on the bag now slung over the shoulder of the unsuspecting biker. "Do you see that?" Snake said, his voice smooth and calculated. "That's no ordinary bag." His second in command, a burly man nicknamed Crusher, squinted in the direction Snake indicated. What's so special about it? Just looks like a fancy purse to me. Snake smirked, his silver tooth glinting under the neon lights. Not when it belongs to Kylie Jenner. Think about it. Why would she bring a bag like that to a place like this unless it was holding something valuable? Something profitable? The gang murmured in agreement, their interest piqued. They had heard the buzz earlier about Kylie's prototype, a game-changing makeup product with a value that could skyrocket on the black market. Snake saw an opportunity too good to pass up. He rose from his seat, his movements deliberate. Here's what we're gonna do. We let the big guy keep carrying the bag for now. We follow him, wait for the right moment, and then he snapped his fingers. It's ours. The iron fangs began to move, blending into the chaos of the rally, their eyes trained on their target. Snake chuckled to himself, already savoring the power and profit the prototype could bring. For Kylie, the stakes had just gotten higher. She didn't yet know that her lost bag had attracted the attention of a dangerous group. And for the Iron Fangs, this wasn't just about a theft. It was about making a statement. Kylie paced near the rally's main stage, her designer boots clicking against the asphalt as she frantically called her assistant. Are you sure it wasn't moved? Check again, she demanded, her voice tinged with panic. The assistant shook their head, helplessly gesturing toward the now crowded table where the bag had last been seen. Her polished composure began to crack. This wasn't just any product. It was the result of months of innovation, secrecy, and hard work. Losing it wasn't an option. She took a deep breath, steeling herself. All right, she muttered under her breath. If I don't find it, no one will. Just then, a gruff voice interrupted her thoughts. You're looking for something, princess? Kylie turned sharply, her eyes meeting a tall biker with a rough but friendly demeanor. His leather jacket was adorned with patches, each telling a story of road trips and battles fought. Yeah, my bag, she replied quickly. It's black, small, and extremely important. The biker nodded. Saw a guy walking off with something like that. Big guy, leather vest. Didn't seem like he realized it wasn't his. Kylie's eyes lit up with hope, but her relief was short-lived. Another voice, smoother and more unsettling, chimed in from behind her. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She turned to see Snake standing a few feet away, his gang slowly gathering behind him. That bag might have found itself better company now, he said with a sly grin. Kylie's stomach tightened. The message was clear. They knew, and they weren't about to let it go. Determined, she squared her shoulders and glared at Snake. That's mine, and I'm getting it back. Snake chuckled, unbothered. We'll see about that. Better move quick, princess. Time's ticking. As Snake and his gang disappeared into the crowd, Kylie felt a surge of adrenaline. She turned back to the biker who had tried to help. Can you ride? She asked. He smirked. Can you keep up? Kylie's lips curled into a determined smile. The rally was no longer just a chaotic backdrop. It had become the starting line for a race against time. The conflict, the rival gang's plan. In the heart of the rally's outskirts, away from the roaring engines and bustling crowds, the Iron Fangs gathered around Snake. A flickering neon sign cast a faint glow over the group as Snake laid out his plan. That bag isn't just a purse, Snake began, his voice steady and commanding. He held up his phone, displaying a snapshot one of his scouts had taken of Kylie earlier in the evening. It's the key to a fortune. Word is, Jenner's cooking up something big. A makeup stick that can survive anything. Heat, sweat, rain, you name it. The gang murmured in interest, their rough faces lit with a mix of greed and excitement. Crusher, Snake's burly second-in-command, crossed his arms and frowned. How's a makeup stick gonna make us rich? We're bikers, not beauty bloggers. Snake chuckled, shaking his head. It's not about using it, Crusher. It's about selling it. Imagine what her competitors would pay to get their hands on that formula. Millions, maybe more. And if we play it right, we can auction it off to the highest bidder. The murmurs grew louder, turning into a chorus of approval. Snake raised a hand to silence them. But we can't just snatch it and run. Not yet. That'll cause a scene, and Jenner's got eyes on her everywhere. We wait for the right moment, when the crowd thins out. Then we grab it, no loose ends. He leaned forward, his silver tooth catching the light. This isn't just about the money. It's about proving that no one, celebrity or not, steps into our territory and walks away untouched. The Iron Fangs nodded, their loyalty unwavering. Snake's plan was set, and the clock was ticking. Back near the rally's center, Kylie's frustration was mounting. She paced back and forth, her phone clutched tightly in her hand, her assistant trailing nervously behind. Every passing second felt like an eternity, the weight of the missing prototype pressing down on her. "I can't believe this is happening," Kylie muttered, her voice laced with both anger and determination. "This isn't just a product. It's months of work. My reputation. Everything." The nearby biker who had initially offered his help stepped closer. "Listen," he said, his tone calm but firm. "You're not going to find that bag by running in circles here. I've seen this kind of thing before. If someone's taken it, they're not going to be handing it back." Kylie stopped pacing and looked at him, her jaw tight. "So, what do I do? Just let them get away with it?" The biker smirked. "Not exactly. You've got two choices. You call in your fancy security team and hope for the best, or," he paused, his gaze steady, "you let us handle it." Kylie raised an eyebrow. Skepticism etched across her face. "You mean you and your biker buddies?" "Exactly," he replied with a grin. "We know this rally better than anyone. If the Iron Fangs are involved, and trust me, we're your best shot." Despite her reservations, Kylie felt a spark of hope. These bikers might be her unlikely allies. "All right," she said, her voice steady. "But we don't have time to waste. If we're doing this, we're doing it now." The biker nodded. "Good. Then stick close, Jenner. You're about to see how the real world handles business." As they set off to track down Snake and his gang, Kylie realized she was stepping further out of her comfort zone than ever before. But she also knew she didn't have a choice. Meanwhile, Snake and his gang moved through the shadows of the rally, their sharp eyes scanning the crowd. The unsuspecting biker who had mistakenly taken Kylie's bag was still mingling, oblivious to the growing interest in the item slung over his shoulder. Snake motioned to his crew to hang back, a devilish grin spreading across his face. "We don't need to rush," Snake said, his voice low and confident. "Let him carry it a little longer. Makes it easier for us to stay under the radar. By the time he realizes what he's holding, it'll be too late." Crusher, less patient, grumbled under his breath. "We could just grab it now, Snake. No one would even notice." Snake shot him a sharp look. "And cause a scene? Risk Jenner getting her people involved? No. We do this clean. We got time. Let the guy lead us somewhere quiet. And then we strike." But Snake wasn't just thinking about the bag anymore. His eyes darted toward Kylie, who was now huddled with her newfound allies. A glint of amusement crossed his face as he watched her desperate efforts. "She thinks she can outsmart us," he said with a chuckle. "Let her try. It'll make it all the sweeter when we come out on top." Across the rally, Kylie and her new biker allies were formulating their plan. The seasoned bikers spoke in low tones, mapping out the areas Snake's gang was likely to target. Kylie listened intently, a mix of fear and determination burning in her chest. But Snake wasn't just planning to steal a prototype. He was setting a trap. The Iron Fangs began planting misinformation, spreading rumors among the rally-goers about Kylie's involvement. Each whisper painted her as an outsider trying to profit off their culture. By the time Kylie's group was ready to act, the tension in the rally had shifted. Snake's subtle manipulation had cast doubt, creating an undercurrent of hostility that could tip the scales in his favor. Snake's plan was nearing its climax. The unsuspecting biker with Kylie's bag had wandered toward the outskirts of the rally, drawn by the promise of quieter space and less chaos. He leaned casually against his bike, still oblivious to the treasure he carried. The Iron Fangs closed in, their movements calculated and smooth. Snake signaled with a sharp whistle, and two of his gang members flanked the biker. Snake approached slowly, his silver-toothed grin gleaming under the neon glow. "Hey, buddy," Snake said, his tone dripping with false friendliness. "Nice bag you've got there. Mind showing me what's inside?" The biker frowned, clutching the strap instinctively. "It's just my stuff. Why do you care?" Crusher stepped forward, his imposing figure making the tension palpable. "Oh, we care. See, that bag isn't yours, is it? Let's not make this harder than it needs to be." Before the biker could respond, Snake leaned closer, his voice dropping into a menacing whisper. "Hand it over, and you'll walk away like nothing happened. Or We can make this rally a whole lot more interesting. Reluctantly, the biker loosened his grip, and the bag was swiftly pulled from his hands. The iron fangs backed away, victorious, as Snake slung the bag over his shoulder with a triumphant smirk. But the moment was short-lived. From across the rally, Kylie spotted the exchange. Her heart sank as she saw Snake holding the bag. Without hesitation, she turned to her newfound allies. "They have it," she said, her voice urgent. "We can't let them get away." The bikers nodded, revving their engines. "Then we don't waste time," one of them replied. "We ride now." As Snake and his gang mounted their bikes, Kylie and her team prepared to give chase. The Iron Fangs might have made their move, but the battle for the prototype was far from over. The Alliance. Kylie joins forces with the bikers. Kylie stood at the rally's edge, her nerves taut like a coiled spring. Snake and his gang had the bag, and her chances of getting it back alone were slim. She turned to the small group of bikers who had been helping her. They were rough around the edges but had shown a surprising amount of loyalty and grit. "Look, I know this isn't your fight," Kylie began, her voice steady but urgent. "But I need that bag back. It's not just makeup, it's everything I've worked for. And I'm not leaving here without it." One of the bikers, a woman with streaked pink hair and a jacket that read Blaze, crossed her arms. "That's all well and good, Princess, but Snake and his boys don't play fair. You think you can just waltz in and take it back?" Kylie straightened her shoulders. "No, but I think we can." Blaze raised an eyebrow, impressed by the determination in Kylie's voice. "We?" "Yes, we," Kylie said firmly. "You said yourself you know this rally better than anyone. You've faced the Iron Fangs before, haven't you? They think they own this place. Don't you want to prove they don't?" The group exchanged glances. One of the bikers, a wiry man named Tread, chuckled. "She's got guts, I'll give her that." Kylie seized the moment. "Help me, and I'll make it worth your while. I'm not just talking money. I'll owe you, all of you. Whatever it takes." Blaze smirked, finally relenting. "All right, Jenner. You've got yourself a team. But don't think we're doing this for free. You owe us big time." "Deal," Kylie said without hesitation. As the group huddled to form their plan, Kylie felt a flicker of hope. She wasn't alone anymore, and with their help, the chase was about to begin. The group of bikers circled around Kylie, their engines rumbling softly, as if they were ready to take off at a moment's notice. Blaze leaned forward, pulling out a small, grease-stained map of the rally grounds. "All right, Jenner," she said, "if we're going to do this, we need a plan. Snake's not stupid, and he's got eyes everywhere." Kylie crouched next to her, scanning the map. The sprawling rally was more complicated than she realized, with twisting paths, hidden alleys, and makeshift escape routes. "Where do you think he'll go?" she asked, her voice calm but determined. Blaze pointed to a far-off section marked South Exit. "Snake likes to work in the shadows. This area is quiet, no cameras, and easy to slip out of. If he's smart, and he is, that's where he's headed." Tread chimed in, his voice low and steady. "Problem is, if we cut him off too soon, he'll scatter, and we'll lose him in the chaos. We've got to wait until he's committed to the route." Kylie nodded, taking it all in. Despite the urgency of the situation, she couldn't help but feel a strange sense of admiration for these bikers. They moved with precision and instinct, qualities she knew she needed on her side. "And what about me?" Kylie asked, glancing around the group. "I'm not exactly a seasoned rider." The group chuckled, but Blaze silenced them with a look. "You'll ride with me," she said. "I'll handle the bike. You just hang on and try not to fall off." Kylie smirked. "Deal. But don't think I'm just going to sit there. This is my fight, too." Blaze grinned. "Good. Because once this starts, there's no turning back." With the plan set, the bikers revved their engines. They were ready to move, but Kylie knew this was only the beginning. Trust had been established, but the true test was yet to come. As the group prepared to move, the bikers couldn't help but poke a little fun at Kylie. Tread smirked as he handed her a leather jacket. "You're going to need this. Sparkles and stilettos don't exactly scream biker." Kylie rolled her eyes but took the jacket, slipping it on over her designer outfit. "You'd be surprised how well Sparkles can handle themselves," she shot back with a grin. The group laughed, and for the first time, Kylie felt a sense of camaraderie. Blaze mounted her bike, motioning for Kylie to hop on behind her. Hold tight, Jenner. This ride isn't for the faint of heart. Kylie hesitated for a split second, then climbed on. She wrapped her arms around Blaze's waist, bracing herself as the engine roared to life. I hope you know I'm trusting you not to kill me, she said, half joking. Blaze glanced over her shoulder with a smirk. You'll live if you hold on. The rest of the group lined up, engines rumbling like a symphony of chaos. Blaze led the pack, weaving through the rally with a grace that only came from years of riding. Kylie's adrenaline spiked as they zipped past roaring bonfires, cheering crowds, and rows of gleaming motorcycles. As they rode, Kylie couldn't help but feel a shift within herself. These bikers, rough and unpolished as they were, embodied a raw determination she hadn't seen before. They lived by their own rules, relied on each other, and faced challenges head-on. It was a stark contrast to her world of calculated moves and polished appearances. Hey, Jenner, Blaze called over the roar of the engine. You're not so bad for a city girl. Kylie laughed, the tension of the night momentarily melting away. You're not so bad for a biker. As they approached the rally's quieter edges, Blaze slowed the bike and glanced back at Kylie. You ready? This is where things get serious. Kylie tightened her grip. I was born ready. The alliance was solidified, and the team was prepared. Ahead of them lay Snake and the Iron Fangs, and the battle for the prototype was about to ignite. The chase, action, and twists. The roar of engines filled the night as Kylie and the bikers sped toward the south exit. The neon lights of the rally faded into the distance, replaced by dimly lit streets and shadowy alleyways. Blaze led the pack, her sharp eyes scanning for any sign of Snake or the Iron Fangs. They won't be far, Blaze called over the sound of the engine. Snake's too smart to rush, but he's not dumb enough to wait around either. Kylie tightened her grip, her heart pounding in sync with the bike's rhythmic hum. She glanced over her shoulder at the others in the group, their focus unwavering as they followed Blaze's lead. It was a strange, exhilarating feeling, being part of something so raw and real. Suddenly, Tread's voice crackled over the makeshift radios they had cobbled together. Blaze, I see them. 2 blocks up, heading west. Looks like Snake's crew is splitting up. Blaze cursed under her breath. Smart move. They're trying to throw us off. She turned her head slightly to shout back at the group. We split too. Tread, take the left. Kylie and I will follow the main trail. The rest of you, circle around. Let's box them in. The group peeled off in different directions, engines roaring as they navigated the winding streets. Blaze pushed her bike harder, the wind whipping past them as they closed the gap between themselves and Snake's main group. Kylie's heart leaped when she spotted a familiar figure ahead. Snake, his silver-toothed grin catching the light as he glanced back at them. He held up the black bag, taunting them with a mock salute before speeding up. Oh no, you don't, Kylie muttered, her jaw tightening. Blaze smirked and revved the engine. Hold on tight, Jenner. This is where the fun begins. The chase was officially underway, and the stakes had never been higher. Blaze accelerated, her bike roaring as she and Kylie pursued Snake through the narrow streets. The black bag swung from Snake's shoulder, a maddening reminder of how close yet far they were from reclaiming it. Snake weaved through obstacles with ease, his laughter carried back to them on the wind. You're gonna let him taunt us like that? Kylie yelled over the noise, her frustration boiling over. Blaze smirked. Not a chance. She leaned forward, pushing the bike even harder, narrowing the gap between them and Snake. Up ahead, Snake motioned to his crew, who peeled off in different directions. One rider deliberately tipped over a row of garbage bins, sending a cascade of debris into Blaze's path. Hang on, Blaze shouted, swerving sharply to avoid the obstacle. The bike tilted dangerously, but Blaze managed to regain control. Kylie held on tightly, her knuckles white from the effort. As they straightened out, Blaze cursed under her breath. They're trying to split us up? Kylie glanced back and saw some of their allies tangled in the chaos. What now? She asked, her voice sharp with urgency. We stay on Snake, Blaze replied without hesitation. Cutting the head off the Snake is the only way this ends. Up ahead, Snake took a sharp turn down an alley, disappearing into the shadows. Blaze followed without hesitation, the narrow passage forcing her to slow down. The echo of Snake's engine bounced off the walls, making it hard to tell how far ahead he was. Suddenly, a flash of light burst in front of them as another of Snake's gang tossed a flare, momentarily blinding them. Blaze cursed, skidding to a halt. "He's playing dirty," she growled. Kylie blinked away the brightness, her determination only growing stronger. "Then let's play smarter." Blaze revved the engine again, her focus sharpening. The chase wasn't over. It was just heating up. The flare's smoke began to dissipate, but Snake's gang had gained precious seconds. Blaze and Kylie roared out of the alley, emerging onto a wider street bathed in the pale glow of streetlights. Blaze scanned the road ahead and spotted Snake darting between traffic. "There he is," she said, her voice tense but steady. Kylie's eyes narrowed. "We need to stop him before he gets out of the rally's perimeter." As Blaze pushed the bike forward, Snake's crew reappeared, flanking him like a protective shield. They moved in formation, blocking every attempt Blaze made to get closer. "They're boxing us out," Blaze muttered. Kylie's mind raced. An idea struck her, risky but worth trying. She reached in her pocket and pulled out a compact from her makeup kit. "What are you doing?" Blaze asked, glancing back briefly. Kylie opened the compact, revealing its shimmering highlighter. "Buying us a window," she said with a grin. She leaned to the side and, with a flick of her wrist, tossed the powdery contents into the air. The shimmering cloud exploded in front of Snake's crew, catching the light and temporarily blinding the bikers nearest to them. The gambit worked. One rider veered off course, crashing into a stack of crates. Another slowed, rubbing his eyes. Blaze seized the opportunity, weaving through the gap in the formation and closing in on Snake. "Nice move, Jenner," Blaze said with a smirk. Kylie grinned. "Told you Sparkles can handle themselves." Snake glanced over his shoulder and saw them gaining ground. His silver-toothed grin faltered. He yanked the throttle, his bike roaring as he pushed it to its limits. Blaze didn't let up. "We're not letting him out of our sight," she said. The two bikes raced down the empty street, the gap between predator and prey narrowing with every second. The roar of Snake's engine echoed through the empty industrial street as he pushed his bike to its limits. The black bag still swung mockingly from his shoulder, but his confidence was beginning to waver. Blaze and Kylie were relentless, their bike closing the gap with every turn. Snake took a sharp corner into an abandoned warehouse lot, the tires of his bike screeching against the pavement. Blaze followed without hesitation, navigating the uneven terrain with precision. Kylie clung tightly, her adrenaline spiking as the chase reached its boiling point. Inside the lot, Snake tried one last trick. He swerved toward a stack of precariously balanced crates, knocking them over as he passed. The crates crashed to the ground, scattering debris in all directions. "Brace yourself," Blaze shouted, swerving to avoid the falling obstacles. The bike tilted dangerously, but Blaze's quick reflexes kept them upright. Snake glanced back, expecting to see them struggling in the chaos. Instead, he saw them still gaining on him. His silver-toothed grin turned into a snarl as he realized he was out of tricks. "This ends now," Blaze shouted, her voice cutting through the air. She pushed the bike harder, drawing up alongside Snake. Kylie reached out, her hand inches from the bag. Snake swerved sharply, trying to force them off course. Blaze matched his movement, keeping their balance steady. Kylie's determination burned bright. With a surge of effort, she grabbed the bag strap and yanked it free. "I've got it," she shouted triumphantly, clutching the bag tightly. Snake, thrown off by the sudden loss, lost control of his bike for a split second, skidding to a stop in a cloud of dust. Blaze and Kylie sped past him, their victory secured. As they reached the edge of the lot, Blaze slowed the bike, the tension in the air giving way to exhilaration. Kylie held the bag close, a mix of relief and triumph washing over her. "That," Blaze said with a grin, "was one hell of a ride." Kylie laughed breathlessly. "And it's not over yet." The chase had ended, but the story was far from finished. Resolution and takeaways. The sun was beginning to rise as Blaze brought the bike to a halt at the rally's outskirts. The adrenaline from the chase lingered, but the silence of the early morning felt almost surreal. Kylie climbed off the bike, clutching the black bag tightly as if it might disappear again if she let go. She opened the bag, her heart pounding. Inside, the prototype was still intact. A sleek, glossy tube of the all-night glow stick, a product she poured her heart and soul into. Relief flooded her as she cradled it in her hands. Blaze dismounted and leaned against her bike, watching Kylie with a smirk. "Well, you did it, Jenner. That's some serious grit you've got there. Didn't think a city girl like you could handle a night like this." Kylie looked up, her face a mixture of exhaustion and pride. "Honestly, neither did I. But sometimes, you don't have a choice. You just figure it out." The other bikers began to roll in, their engines quieting as they joined Blaze and Kylie. They exchanged grins and nods of approval, acknowledging Kylie as more than just an outsider. "Snake's gang won't be bothering us for a while," one biker said with a chuckle. Kylie smiled. "Good. But this wasn't just about me or my product. You all showed me something tonight, about trust, teamwork, and persistence." Blaze raised an eyebrow. "Teamwork, huh? Does that mean we're in the credits of your next big launch?" Kylie laughed. "Oh, you're in more than the credits. Trust me." The first rays of sunlight cast a warm glow over the group. They'd faced danger together, and while the night had started as an impossible challenge, it ended as a victory forged in grit and camaraderie. As the bikers gathered around, Kylie felt a newfound respect for the group that had stood by her. These weren't just tough, leather-clad outsiders. They were a team, bound by loyalty and unspoken understanding. Blaze folded her arms, her gaze softening as she looked at Kylie. "So, what's next for you, Jenner? Back to the world of high heels and photo ops?" Kylie smirked, tucking the bag securely under her arm. "Back to work. This product still needs to launch, and now I've got an even better story to tell." She paused, glancing around at the group. "But I won't forget this night, or any of you." Tread leaned against his bike, grinning. "Don't be a stranger. You might look out of place, but you earned your spot here tonight." The group chuckled, the camaraderie easing the tension left behind by the chase. Kylie stepped forward, addressing them all. "Seriously, though, I couldn't have done this without you. You didn't have to help me, but you did, and I'll always owe you for that." Blaze waved a hand dismissively. "We don't do IOUs, Jenner. But if you really mean it, you'll send us a couple of those fancy glow sticks. Who knows? Maybe we'll start a biker beauty trend." Kylie laughed, the tension finally giving way to relief and gratitude. "Consider it done. And maybe I'll even name the shade after this night. Midnight Ride, or something." The bikers cheered at the idea, their laughter echoing through the morning air. Blaze extended her hand for a firm shake, sealing their unspoken bond. As Kylie climbed into her SUV, she glanced back at the group, their figures silhouetted against the rising sun. They weren't just allies. They were a reminder of what grit and determination could achieve. As Kylie's SUV rolled away from the rally, she stared at the black bag resting on the seat beside her. The prototype inside represented more than just a product launch. It was a testament to everything she'd learned that night. She pulled out her phone and began typing a note, her thoughts racing faster than the events of the chase. Persistence isn't about never losing. It's about never giving up. Glamour may turn heads, but grit gets the job done. She smiled, knowing those words would stick with her long after this moment. Back at her headquarters, Kylie unveiled the story behind her product in a press release. She didn't shy away from the gritty details of the night. Instead, she leaned into them, emphasizing the lessons of resilience and adaptability. The story wasn't just about the glow stick. It was about how the product symbolized thriving under pressure, just as she had. The marketing team went wild over the idea. The campaign practically wrote itself. Born in the chaos, made for the unstoppable. Social media buzzed with excitement, and the pre-orders surged. But for Kylie, the success wasn't just in the numbers. It was in knowing she'd stepped out of her world, faced down challenges, and come out stronger. In a final gesture of gratitude, she sent Blaze and her crew personalized packages of the glow sticks with a handwritten note. "To the Midnight Riders, thank you for reminding me that glam and grit go hand in hand." Back at the rally, Blaze and the bikers opened the package with wide grins. Blaze held up the glow stick, the shade's name catching her eye. "Midnight Ride." "Well," she said with a smirk, Looks like we made our mark after all. And as the world celebrated Kylie's new launch, the story of that neon-lit chase became a legend, one that blurred the lines between glamour and grit, proving that persistence truly pays off. Did you enjoy this thrilling mix of glamour, grit, and action? Don't let the story stop here. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales that inspire, entertain, and keep you on the edge of your seat. Drop a comment below and let us know, what's your take on Kylie's wild midnight adventure? And remember, whether it's makeup or motorbikes, persistence always wins the race. Hit the bell icon to stay tuned for our next exciting story. You won't want to miss it.